What's up, guys? So I wanted to give an update on where I'm at on the van build. So far it's been going pretty well. It's been about a month or so of working on it full time, like 7 days a week, like all day basically. And it's been going a little bit slower than I expected, but I'm glad to make some good progress on different things. So one of the first things I did was take out the paneling that was in the walls. So there's like a black plastic paneling that came with the van, and I had to remove all of that. That wasn't too difficult. I was able to remove the bulkhead partition, and that was fairly easy. See, another thing were these like metal rivets that connected up to the plastic paneling. On a few of like the lower panels, there were some like brackets that were installed with rivets that were into the van, and so I had to use like a drill to like drill those out. So that was somewhat difficult. It was just kind of stressful not to like go too far with my like drill and go through the side of the van. So, but I was able to get all those out. One big accomplishment has been getting the max air fans installed and also the solar panels and the roof rack installed. All that took a really long time, a lot longer than I wanted to take, but I'm glad it's up there now. And I've also been able to get the Havelock wool insulation installed. I use like string to hold a lot of it in, and I use a lot of like just like the holes that are already in the van to like tie the string into, and that took a really long time. I didn't put all of the wool insulation because I realized that the framing could hold some of it up. I kind of just did like the large three sidewall areas in the middle, and I did do the top two in the back, but I'm gonna have to take that out because I realized that I'm going to install the framing using some plus nuts, and that's where I put some of the strings, so I'm gonna do that a little bit differently. So there is kind of like an order of doing things that's best, but I've been trying to figure out what order that is, but I kind of think that maybe it's best to do the if you're doing like wool insulation, maybe doing it after you do the framing, but and then maybe at that point you don't have to put up as much string to hold all the wool in, so that would probably make it a lot easier. I've also got the floor painted with like Rust-Oleum paint, and I've gone over some other spots with just gray Rust-Oleum paint as well. I realized that after I installed like the max air fans, there's a lot of metal shavings that still came down that I didn't catch. I left it out here for a few days or so, and there was some small like rust spots here and there already from those metal shavings, and then the same on the roof too. There's like some small rust spots because I didn't use a vacuum right away to vacuum up all of the metal shades. I used just like a magnet that I put into like a sock to like catch all of the metal shavings. Yeah, then I was able to move my van over to where I could pull up an electric outlet and use my shop vac to vacuum up the floor, and that helped out get out a lot of the metal shades, and that helped out a lot. So you definitely need a shop vac for sure. I realized that in order to get the layout that I wanted, I kind of needed to have a good plan of how I was going to do the framing for the walls and the floor, and how I was going to do the cabinets as well, so that way I can make sure that I was able to fit everything in that I wanted to fit in here. That's taken a really long time to figure that out too, and I feel like I've gotten a pretty good idea of what I need to do and where I need to place the bed in regards to the bed height, so that way I can still sit up in bed and not hit the ceiling. And so there's just a lot of things to try to like plan everything out kind of like ahead of time, and just understanding how the height of the floor and the ceiling and the width of the walls all affects the rest of my layout and how I'm going to try to fit everything in. So there's just a lot of things trying to like take dimensions and measurements of stuff, trying to figure things out kind of like ahead of time, so that way I know I can meet the layout that I want to do. A lot of time I think is spent trying to come up with a plan of how to do things, and I don't think that's really well documented on the van builds that you see on YouTube. So I've spent way more time just trying to figure out how I'm going to do everything and what materials to buy and everything else than I have actually probably been working on this van. And so maybe it's going to change a little bit going forward because I've been able to buy a lot of stuff that I need. Like I've bought a lot of the framing lumber and the floor and a lot of like the materials that I'm going to need to do some of the next things. And so hopefully that speeds up some stuff in regards to all these van builds. I mean, people say they get them done like 30 days or a couple months or whatever, but a lot of those people probably already have a pretty good plan of how they can do everything, and a lot of the materials are already bought at that point, so before they actually even start. So I've also kind of tried to figure out the interior design as well of what I'm trying to do in the end. So that's taken up a little bit of time as well, and trying to figure out what materials I want to use, because that determines, the wall thickness, and kind of determines like how wide the cabinets can be. And so I think a big thing that's really helped so far is using that van space 3D modeling tool. That has helped me figure out how much space I actually have in the van, and how wide everything is going to be able to be, and how much I'm going to be able to store in the underneath the bed, and also kind of trying to figure out what products I can buy, because that if I have to be able to fit everything within here, and within inside the van, and like within my bed or underneath different storage areas. So that kind of helps figure out what things I can buy, like for example like a composting toilet if I'm gonna buy one, where I can fit that in. So I think definitely like the 3D modeling, being able to use that is really helpful. Going forward, what I'm planning on doing is just doing like a weekly video that I put out, show kind of progress and kind of how I'm doing different things, just kind of help other people as they try to build out their vans, and specifically probably this specific type of van, the 136 wheelbase ProMaster. If you want to see more videos showing how I do different things as I go along, consider subscribing to my channel, Full Time Van Life. Alright,